We've been talking about preservation quite a bit.
Yes.
You're steeped in the very idea of preservation right now.
Yep.
But preservation is a big topic because there, as we've been discussing with digital items and online-only games, there's some preservation that's is up in the air as to whether or not it's even possible.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time, there wasn't an official way to play like old WoW until they came out with WoW Classic. But people were running private servers. You could get on an illegal version of it, but that's how you could play, like, if you wanted to relive the good old days of 2005, right? Well, apparently there were some question from libraries, bastions of, I don't know, cool people, right? Libraries are filled with people that care about preserving things. Mm-hmm. They started coming up with ideas for how they can preserve online game worlds. Mm-hmm. And it was brought up to the ESA, which is the Electronic Software Association,
yep.
which is basically the lobbying group for almost all of the big video game manufacturers out there. And the ESA pretty clearly came out and said, that's straight up illegal. There's no plans, and no, we're never going to allow any of that to ever happen, ever. I think they said, expletive you, gamers, we hate you. Yeah, that's a quote from ESA's president,
Mike
Jerkenwad. No, they were very, very clear that they are not interested, and any attempt to do that is seen as completely illegal. So when you are like, man, it was really neat, that whole Destiny 1 is still up, I guess. Mm-hmm. But, like, Destiny 1 will get shut off at some point.
At some point.
And you'll go, man, Destiny 1, so much better than Destiny 2. It sure would be fun to go back and live that. Find a YouTube video and watch somebody's playthrough of it, because
that's all you get.
ESA is not interested. And if they're not interested in this level of preservation, I guarantee you they're not interested in any other single-player preservation. They're not. All they're interested in is, can we resell you the game you already played again? If we can, we will make a new version of it. If we can't, and we don't think enough of you buy it, too bad. So sad. Go to Mort's Garage to see if you can find the copy of the old game you're looking for. Like, the only people that are really out there doing the hard work of preservation are collectors.
Yeah.
Because
it's really never occurred to me preserving an online world, and that's actually, like, kind of my brain's sort of exploding right now with thought about it, because I understand preserving a physical cartridge, but if a game exists primarily in a digitally developed landscape,
right?
Is there a way to try and explain that other than through gameplay video?
Right.
But part of that is that those online worlds exist with a player base that create that world. So if you take all those players out of it, what are you preserving in the first place? Because those players have developed that world into something. If I understand this whole thing correctly.
Yes, but here's the thing. If you were to theoretically download all of the server data and then run a server yourself illegally in your bedroom, mm-hmm. and then you had it public and 10 or 15 people jump on, you have resurrected that. Like, that's all you need. That.
Yeah.
All you need in Destiny 1, because Destiny 1 wasn't even that huge of a... You would just see a couple people. All you need to do is see one or two other people run by you.
Yeah.
And the feeling comes rushing back.
Yeah.
What is depressing about this is that this was never, ever considered important by the people who are making it. You would think that it would have been like, hey, we have designed a package when this is done that we can export out, and it is the whole data, and here is the server setup. But of course they're not going to do that, because they're owned by some company that says, well, if we can't make money on it, we don't want people doing it.
Yeah.
But we're not interested in putting it back out.
I wonder how much people want to revisit the old worlds if the new worlds are so exciting. Hear me out. I know that there's always a value in revisiting an online world that we've created, that we have got these memories from what, 10 years ago now? Right. 15 years ago now?
Right.
That's crazy.
Yeah, totally.
But even with that, I can't help but think about that and just kind of think, like, but the new online worlds that are happening, what are we preserving but the experience of being together, and if there's new online worlds with new people, I don't know. I guess I don't know, because when I think of if I could right now fire up my Xbox, my original OG Xbox, and play Halo 2 multiplayer online on that console, I would do it right now.
Right.
But I know that in an online world, at least as I understand, like especially with Destiny and stuff like that, that's a whole different ball game. So I understand that. It's not like turning on multiplayer.
But there still
servers.
needs to be a server up and running. So there's enough of a similarity there that you could see how both can still be achieved. The big thing I think to your point is that it's not always the case that the new stuff is better.
Yeah.
And in fact, oftentimes,
Yes,
I am a person that played 1,800 hours of Destiny 1.
1,800 hours.
1,800 hours I had.
So, Jacobians, to your question, is Josh a gamer? That ought to answer that.
And the amount of Destiny 2 I played was a fraction.
Yeah.
Because I did not like that game. And then I fell off it hard, and I had no desire to ever go back to it. If you were going to say, hey, you need to play a Destiny right now, I would say I'll play Destiny 1 in a heartbeat, even just to go back and relive it, some of those 1,800 hours.
Yeah.
But I do not want to play Destiny 2, and I kind of don't want to play whatever they come out with afterwards, just because I don't want to fall down that crack. So you can sell to me saying like, hey, there's only one of these that you really did like, and it's this one. In fact, my first MMO, the first MMO I ever played, is a game called Ragnarok Online.
Okay.
And it was a Korean game. It's very goofy looking. And somebody ran a private server, and I logged on and had just a wave of nostalgia.
Yeah.
Hit. Now, they've made a new one of those on phones. Is not the same thing.
You know what's interesting? Josh, you're normally a very good counterpart to me about physical media. But what's interesting is, as much as I understand the physical media world, I don't understand these digital worlds in the way that you're describing.
Right.
You
don't play a lot of MMOs. You don't play a lot
hardly any, if ever. But I completely empathize with what you're saying, because that feeling that you got,
you get it.
Of
it's the same
nostalgia waving over you of, oh, I remember what this was like.
I remember the title screen.
But for you, you never had a physical
screen.
copy to get you into that, or needed a physical copy to get into that world.
Right.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only WoW I remember is the beta and like first couple months of WoW, because that was the only time I played that game. So I don't have any memory. I don't have any tie to anything that's happened now.
Yeah, and for me, the only WoW I remember are those CDs that were WoW, the hits of the 90s. Yeah. So that's where I go with that.
Wasn't that the Christian one? Wow.
That might have been, yeah.
Now that's what I call music. No, that was the group. That's what I call music was the secular version.
Okay.
WoW was our version.
Okay.
I had all those CDs.
Okay.
So don't look to the ESA. They're not going to help you.